Howdy y'all, it's Cody and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes on how I go about decorating the outside of our house every year. I'll be describing all the products that I'm using and provide links in the description. So I'm going to show you how it's done. Okay, I got everything down. These boxes of stuff. The Clark Griswold obligatory extension cords, smart plugs. We'll go over what I'm using. Garland. Inside there, a big box of wreaths that will go on all the windows up there. First step is to get Christmas wreaths up across all the windows, low and high, even the dormers. Above the garage. So let's get going. So I've already pre-lit the wreaths, and every year I just put them back in the giant tub, and then I get them out and I just have to test them this year. So that's what I'm doing right now. Make sure all the lights on the wreaths are working. All right, success. All of the lights, these bigger lights, held up over the year. I didn't have to replace any of them, which is a first. So I used to use the smaller twinkle lights, and they would just break after a year or two, and man, that's awesome. So now it's time to put the bows on and then get these bad boys up. Okay, so to hang these wreaths, I'm using a command hook. Now this is a pretty heavy duty command hook, and instead of the regular adhesive, I'm using Velcro, the Velcro command hook adhesives. So I've got the Velcro here, and then you want to make sure you get really good contact. Like press really good, right? And there, and then that's what's holding up our wreaths. Okay, the bows I'm using for the Christmas wreaths, you can find these. I'm gonna have links to everything that I've used on the outside in the description of the video. But these, I believe, are from Walmart. Hobby Lobby also can carry these, but they're actually not like paper. They're they have this like velvety texture to them, and they're plastic in the back, and they work really well. They're pretty hardy to the weather. They do only last a couple of years because the sunlight fades the red, but they're pretty inexpensive, so I have to replace them every couple of years, but it's no biggie. Okay, this is a typical wreath that I'm using on the main front porch. These are 24-inch wreaths, and again, I'll provide a link to a wreath that we like. And normally, most of the time, you use the smaller twinkle lights on here. Last year, I switched over to these. These are C3 bulbs. They're bigger. The nice thing about them is, like, if you take a bulb out, right, the whole thing doesn't go out, which is nice, because with the regular twinkle lights, you know, they only last like maybe 2 years, 3 years if you're lucky, before one of the bulbs goes loose or out, and it's pretty much impossible at that point to figure out which one's it, and then you end up tossing the whole light set and then, you know, string them again. So like I said, I switched over to these. You see there's a lot of wires and light, but you never see that at night, and plus you want to see, you know, these things lit up, so that's what I'm using. All right, I got the bow on. The lights work, so it's time to start hanging these things. All right, with all the wreaths assembled, it's time to start hanging. I've got 15 wreaths I got to get up there, and then use extension cords and outlets inside the house with some smart plugs to get everything going. You also see while I'm up there on the roof, I decided to debug a lot of the board and batten. All right, to control all the lights in the wreaths, I have all these smart plugs I've bought over the years. They're made by WYZE. There's 2 of them. They use an app where you can set everything on a schedule, or you can manually turn them on or off. But they're really handy, and they've been really reliable. All right, here's a quick tour of the WYZE app. WYZE makes smart plugs and smart lights and cameras for security and stuff. They all run off this app. You basically open it up, you see all your devices. You can group the devices so that you can turn them all on or off as one group, which is really convenient. So I put all the lights that are running off my smart plugs in one group. And then this is a really cool thing. It's they have automations now. So automations basically allow you to do things like set your lights on a timer. You can go from sundown to sunrise, or you can set specific times or the number of hours you want things to be on before it runs the next automation. So I just have a simple automation that turns them on and off. So on these smart plugs, so I have these little short extension cords because for these waterproof outlets outside, this is too wide for that and it won't plug in well. So I just do that. The last set of wreaths I have are the two on the garage. I can't really put one at the high end of the gable because that window doesn't open. All right, one thing we got this year that's new is this little nativity set. Jesus is the reason for the season, so it's PVC, so it should hold up in the weather. But there's baby Jesus. Anyway, so I'm going to get this thing, see how easy it is to assemble, but I'm going to get it in the ground. It comes with a little spotlight too, so that's good. So here we go. So you'll quickly see here that I'm having a little bit of a fail moment. The hard clay soil of Texas is not friendly to this little PVC little stakes that come with it, so I quickly give up and move to the flower bed instead. We have that Texas clay soil on the ground super hard, so I actually cracked baby Jesus, which is not good. I'll have to super glue that. Super glue fixed baby Jesus, so I think we're I'm in God's good graces again, and we're gonna keep going on this. And then we have the manger, and it looks like these things kind of just pop together. And then these adhesive, I guess these are just, this is how it stays together, is I'll peel this back and attach it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 joints. 5 joints if you count the star up top. So I guess that's how it works. We also have these little fairy lights. Well, as you know, Jesus was a miracle worker, and it's going to take a miracle to get this thing to stand upright. I mean, it is flimsy as all get out. The super glue seemed to work, but that ain't staying up by itself. I'm gonna have to attach some stakes to the back of our manger here. We're gonna need some structural reinforcements, I think, because no, it ain't gonna work. All right, that seemed to work. So got the stakes in. I'm gonna cable tie them because that would be easy. Otherwise, if the wind changes direction, we could have a problem. So let's do that, and then I gotta recenter everything. It's looking pretty ghetto at the moment, so I gotta fix this. All right, we have a nativity set. We'll see how long it lasts. So far, I'm not too impressed. I mean, it looks fine. It's just a little hard to work with, a little fragile. I'm gonna add some lights and stuff back behind it to give it a nice little night glow, but we'll see. All right, with the wreaths hung and the nativity scene set up, all I really have left is kind of to decorate the porch. So I got to get everything cleared off first. At first, I have a bunch of those little potted trees that I'm lighting up and stuff, but Jessica came and looked at it and thought it was a little too much, so we decided to simplify. All right, other accessories that kind of brighten up the porch is we have these like nice Christmas pillows. little red lantern. As you probably know if you've watched our in-tour Christmas tour, this year's theme is kind of a Ralph Lauren thing. So lots of plaids, but really makes the front porch look nice and festive. All right, the last piece that we have on the front porch, you see I kind of removed some of the trees out of here to reduce the clutter, but this garland that we put around the door, we had this wiry stuff before, which I didn't like. It was itchy and I just hard to work with. This stuff we got off Amazon, and again, I'll put a link to it, but it's really nice. It feels way sturdier and way easier to work with. And then you can see I've wrapped them in lights. So I think it's gonna look great. And we have some wreaths here. We had some weather come through there. The front door. So between that and everything else, I think we're about done. Okay, well, you can see it took me pretty much all day to get it done, but I am done. And I hope you learned a little bit there. You get to see the house at night, which it looks wonderful. You get a lot of compliments. We get cars that drive by, just kind of slow up as they pass by the house. It really makes the house look festive, and you know, it's a lot of work, but I really don't mind doing it. As I already mentioned, if you haven't seen the inside of the house, you gotta go see that. So click on the links, and we hope you have a very Merry Christmas.